Good evening, loves, and welcome to a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with a taste of versatile Vixen. How are you guys doing tonight? Good evening. Thank you for joining. Hello, Slow Mo. Thank you for joining tonight, and congratulations on that new book. Go, girl. You guys know how I like to get this party started. Yes, with Deepest Thoughts by Lavina, Expressions by Lavina, My Dirty Little Secret, and My Latest Baby, Emotional by Lavina. All books are available on Amazon or you can order them from me. Slow-mo, did you get your book yet? Please let me know. You guys, oh my God, I had such a wonderful time. Versatile Vixen. Okay, I'm going to bring you in 1 second. Well, you know what? I could tell you guys about the show after I bring in my guest because she is here and she. Yeah. Okay, I sent you an invite, sweetie. I hope that, can you guys hear like something blowing in the background? Because I have my little space heater right here because it's cold here. Hello, 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 Tasty Tuesday, loves, and welcome to a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with versatile Vixen. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing much better now. Thank you.
You look beautiful. Yes, you are. I'm glad. I'm glad. Because I was
Thank
like, oh
you.
God, I hope she can make the show.
I know. I hated that I got sick, but I'm here.
Yay. Okay. Okay. So, wait a minute. Let me put my glasses on because me seeing things, the screen, and what I need to. Right. Well, first, before we get started, would you like to say hello to anyone or send out the little airplanes to
Oh,
anybody?
yeah, I could definitely send it out. And hello to everyone that's here. I don't know who's here, but
Somebody named Luscious Beauty Creations came in the building. Thank you for joining, sweetie. Slow Mo, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Slow Motion says hello to you also, sweetie.
hello, 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 guys.
Okay, so we're going to get started. Versatile Vixen is an educator, published poet, and spoken word artist. My first question is, how did you come up with the name Versatile Vixen? What is that all about? Please share.
Well, what had happened was I got into erotic poetry
Mhm.
and decided that if I was going to do something like this, being an educator, I need a stage name or an alias because the public likes to come after people on social media. So to keep my identity sacred, I came up with the stage name. And I like alliteration. And one of the first poems that I wrote was about being a switch in the LGBT community.
Mhm.
Um, and so versatile came out, and I'm like, okay, so what could I put with that? And if you look at the definition of vixen, I felt like it was very fitting because it's a fierce or spiritual woman who
Mhm.
also is very, who portrays a lot of sexuality or sensualness. And so that's basically me in a nutshell.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Okay. I like that. Now, I'm going to ask you, you said the switch in the, I don't even want to mess up the letters. What?
Yeah,
Now,
in the LGBT community. So they
okay.
as a gay person or a lesbian. Um,
Okay. So what's the switch? What do you mean?
um, a switch is more so someone who's very versatile. So they could be a top or a bottom. As far as like
Oh, so
dominant or submissive, I can
oh,
be.
you're talking about that. I do know some of that. My Dirty Little Secret, that book was written because I went to an open mic at a boutique that sold all the things pertaining to, S&M. And that night they had a demonstrator there. And I went for the demonstration and girl, I passed out because like he was because what he was doing, oh my God, it felt so good. He said I reached utopia because he was doing knife play. He was doing this, everything he was doing, like massage, and I just, oh my God, it was amazing. I recommend to anybody. I'm like, not to get into it, but to experience, um, like a demonstration or something like that. Oh wow,
Hmm.
I didn't know he was in. Yeah, he told me about toppers, bottoms. We had a long conversation. Well, not that night. We had to talk the next day because there was a lot of information he was giving me, and he's actually still writing like a manual of the uh, things that should go on with it. Like I guess so. I don't know if he calls. I don't think it's called a rule book, but like how the lifestyle of what he would want from his slave and submissives.
Hmm.
That's what he's writing a book about that and whatnot. So it was pretty interesting. It's nothing like the movie. He's like people in the community don't like 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, he said it's and after I talked to him, I was like, he's right. It's a total difference. But yeah, that they it's it's something to be experienced. Like
Hmm.
definitely it's for people to see if it's something they would want to be into. But definitely go, and the demonstration was awesome. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
That's something that I talk about frequently, when I talk about myself, is that it took me a long time to get here and to be comfortable with that kind of stuff, because I grew up in a very white Christian household who
Ooh,
didn't
girl.
believe any of that. That was very abominational, so we don't do that kind of stuff. And yeah, so it took me until I was like late 20s, early 30s to even really get into what I wanted sexually. So going out and experiencing that kind of stuff led me to, further find out what I want.
And that's awesome because that's another reason why I actually put erotic poems in my books. And I did the my dirty little secret because growing up, I was exposed to porn at a young age, and I was like, I'm not letting no guy do that mess to me. So I was rigid. So it wasn't until I got older that I started enjoying sex. And then, like you said, the church and society says women shouldn't do this, or sex is just for having children. And then these colors, red, oh my god, if I would have wore this in the 60s, I would have been called a whore.
Mm-hmm.
So times have definitely changed, and you have to let people be people because we weren't just made spirit. He gave us a human form, and he also gave us sex to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, people, you got to get with it because, and I think that's another reason why people or kids, some kids will go out and get into stuff they shouldn't because no one wants to talk about it. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
tell them. So I think that's awesome.
Thank
Just,
you.
okay, wait. My next question. You are a lifelong writer. Do you remember the first thing you wrote?
The first one, no, because that was so long ago in high school. That's where I really got into it, and I didn't keep any of my work, and I regret that so bad now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
because I was raised, mama said artists won't make any money. You don't want to be a starving artist, so I didn't, put any more life into it until now.
Right. Because I was
Um,
going to say, honey, we here to change the narrative. Oh, we
right.
okay.
So no, I remember the first piece that I wrote when I started writing again, though, which was a
Mhm,
couple of years ago.
mhm. Well, don't say, because, um, well, actually, you can say, because that's my next question before I ask you to perform something. Was it from the effects of COVID? Because you said you started writing then. Was it from the effects of COVID, like people dying and being sick, or the solitude of COVID that you started writing poetry?
Um, it was the solitude of COVID, and I started dating a poet.
You poor thing. Wait, isn't it amazing? It's amazing with words. Words are the spell. Those symbols are spells. And honey, I have a poem that says that those words expressed so assertively keeps one longing for more. And that's what you, he ain't even got to touch you. Just the words and the lure and the what is it? It's the desire that he gives you of what is to come. So
Mm-hmm.
you're always looking forward to what it could be or the moment when it's going to happen and knowing, and they just give you a little bit, not all of it, because to give it too quickly, it's going to mess up the, what do you want to call it? The seduction. Because
Right.
that's what it is. It's that seduction that just,
Mm-hmm.
he's just twirling it, webbing his weave. Wow.
And for me, it's a confidence thing. I'm very drawn to confident people, and for me, it takes a lot of guts to get on a stage and be a spoken word poet. It's one thing to write it down; it's another thing to perform it.
Honey.
And seeing my ex do that was like, and she had been in the business for 10 plus years, but to see her be nervous before she got on stage, even today, it kind of gave me that little like, you could do this. It's just you got to have the guts to do it one day. And so I started writing, and I didn't perform it. And then one day I went to an open mic to support a friend who was there as a vendor. I wasn't even there for the open mic. It was just to sit with my friend. And my other friend was like, "You write, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Okay." And the next thing I know, they're calling my name to go on stage.
They put you on the list.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's how I got started back. And that was during COVID.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. Oh, you guys, we lost her. Wait a minute. Let me send her an invite so she can come back in the room. Okay. I sent it to her.
Sorry.
There. Okay.
I was like, don't call me. So I was going to things undercover when COVID was still around because of the solitude. And I live by myself, and as a teacher, we were remote. So everything was just here. And every now and then they would have something publicly kind of on the side. And so that's how I got started into spoken word.
Totally awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you stepped out. And like you said, hitting that stage is, it's a whole nother beast. But
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with a taste of versatile Vixen.
So, I wasn't going to dive right into an erotic piece, but since we have already talked about it, why not? Let me see. And I wasn't going to do this piece either, but a lot is changing right now, so I'm going to do it anyways. This is one that a lot of people request, but it has to do with what we were just talking about. So um, this is called Dominant, and I also have one called Submissive, so that's where the switch comes in. I do this for me. You think it's your pleasure I'm after, and the truth is you're right, but also because I'm greedy. I get an ego boost when I spread your thighs apart, run my fingers down your folds, and feel your juice. The wetness within tells me exactly what I need to know. That you want this just as badly as I do, and that's when I can begin. Running my lips along your inner thigh, feeling your body clench, you grip the sheets and let out a sigh. I know you want, I want to know what you taste like, but I know you want my mouth on it. So I take my time to tease you with foreplay before I even touch your clit. I move upwards towards your breast, take one in my mouth, the other in my hand, and I begin to caress. I can tell you're trying to hold back. Please don't. What intensifies my need to satisfy is hearing you moan. I grab the handcuffs and your hands I restrain. These aren't the fuzzy kind. I don't fuck with child's play. Locked in place, I allow them to rest, and if you're a good girl, you'll accept my behest. Don't come until I tell you to. It's not a request, it's a demand. And if you come too soon, you'll feel the sting of this hand. But maybe that's what you want, to be spanked until your ass is red. Or is it the tresses of this flogger that you're after? Do you honestly know what lies ahead? Christian Grey ain't got shit on me.
Whoa.
Because he's just dominant, but I'm both that and nasty. Let me grab the spreader bar and put your ankles in it. Push them back towards the headboard and watch you submit. Smack your pussy until you beg for my tongue. I hope you can handle what's in store because the night is young. That's that piece.
Wait a minute. I do apologize because usually I have my buzzer ready, but I wasn't ready. All right now, honey. She said Christian Grey don't have nothing. I'm like, oh, honey, first of all, the spreader bar. I got a whole problem with that. Wait a minute. That's like, okay, wait, my legs are handcuffed apart. Like,
Right.
I don't know. Oh my goodness. Okay, audience, do you guys want her to do another piece before I go to the next question? Give me some hearts on the screen if you want another piece from her before we go to another question. See, they're not listening. They're not listening.
They're still in
I
shock.
think I think they have to yeah, they have to cool off because wait, what you call said, pretty provocative poet said he don't think he's gonna be able to sleep after this. He was like, so yeah, they like and tequila sway. I don't know what those things mean, but I think it means something like, oh, that was hot. In slow mo says spanky spanky. Oh, you guys would like another poem before we go to another question? I seen some hearts. Well, versatile vixen, give the people what they want.
Okay, I'll do a short one. This one is called Abandonment. Because a lot of poets we have trauma, so this was written about it. Um, you left me with abandonment issues, something I carry deep inside. Just the thought of another person leaving me makes me want to cry. How is it possible that a father could walk away from his own child at birth saying she's not mine? I've carried this burden for many years, leaving me in a state of fear. If I run away or end my relationships first, then it won't hurt so bad when they disappear. At least that's what I thought when the self-sabotaging began. Deliberately hindering my own success in relationships because I was first hurt by a man. Something I didn't realize I was doing until too many years later. But here I am fighting this trauma that will only make me greater. No more failing to stand up for myself, people pleasing, and more. In this time of my life, it's about letting go so that I can heal and grow to accept love without fear while being open to what's in store. And that's that one. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, the abandonment issues. Um, I definitely identify with that. It took a long time. My dad, he didn't leave when I was born, but he left my mother when I was 7, left the family.
Mm,
And that's when the anger really kicked in. And for the longest time, I didn't even realize I was angry. So I thank God for healing. And that took years. Because, like I said, I grew up angry. I didn't even know I was angry.
hmm
I just thought it was
That's
normal, and you just, I come from, like, I had older sisters and brothers, and they were fighters because, sometimes, like, we didn't grow up in a bad neighborhood, but sometimes, the kids on the way home, they had to go through a neighborhood that wasn't so good. And one time they got chased home by a group of girls, and my mom locked the door. So my sisters went to wailing. So I come from, knowing that my older sisters would fight. So that's what I did. So I didn't think it was anything wrong with being angry. You know? So yeah, the
hmm
abandonment issues are serious.
They really are. And it's something that I wish I had gone to therapy for long ago, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that I had these issues until COVID hit, and my mother encouraged me to get on Ancestry, and I found my father through
Awesome.
there.
Mm-hmm.
I also found my siblings, and they all added me on Facebook. And, the siblings and I have talked. My father is my friend on Facebook and has never said a word. And because of that, I really started digging into my past and like, okay, so I see where this is coming from, and we need to do something about this.
It might be maybe he doesn't know what to say because it's like, how do you even start a conversation? I mean, it could just
Right.
be hi, but the guilt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then to see you and see you're beautiful, you're doing well, with, you know, so it's probably more, and I'm just speaking from a parent perspective, because I have a son, and I thank God, I mean, that I wouldn't leave him. I'm like, somebody would have to take me out for them to get my kid. But if I was in a situation where I left my child, yeah, it's like, how do you even start the conversation for the healing to begin? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the fact that you're open to it, that's what's going to make it amazing, and that's what's going to tear down the wall and let the floodgates in for you guys to reconnect. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. So I hope that's exactly what happens.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll see. And if not, I've got some half siblings who are more than willing to meet me and want to do it today. So,
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome. Now, do you guys live in the same area?
No, they live in Virginia. I think one of them lives in South Carolina, so it's not too far. It is, a driving distance. But we've swapped pictures and everything, and it's just crazy how much they look like me. It's
Wow, that's
insane.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow, totally awesome. Okay, my next question would be, you've performed online and on stage. Which do you prefer?
Hmm. It's interesting. I think it probably on stage more. Mostly because there's an adrenaline rush that cannot be described, and then once you're done and you walk off stage, it's like but while you're up there, it's just this intense feeling. And I like getting feedback from the audience. It tells me that I'm doing a good job. People actually like what I'm saying, which you
Mhm.
can get it from the host if you're online and from comments and stuff, but you don't get to hear the oral feedback.
They're the energy.
Mm-hmm.
That's they give you their energy, and that just is awesome. Like when you're giving out and it's being reciprocated, it's flowing. That's what happens. The energy starts flowing in the room, and the more it flows, the better your performance gets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally enjoy in person and prefer to be in person, speaking and whatnot. So I totally get that. Now, this is the part of the show where you have to, well, you don't have to, but I like it when people do. Answer the three questions. Um, I want to know one of your deepest thoughts, your one of your favorite expressions, and one of your dirty little secrets.
Hmm.
And also, Pretty Provocative Poet has a question also.
Oh no. um, oh, my deepest thoughts.
Just one deep thought. It doesn't have to be like life changing, just something you might be by the water and you're in a moment. It's like, hmm.
I'm always wishing that the world could be a better place. That is truly one of my deepest thoughts anytime, even, by myself, or if I'm watching the news, or just listening to people talk, social media. I just wish the world could be a better place.
Yes, that's a good thought to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And live by example. That's really all that I can do.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Most definitely. Now, one of
Um,
your favorite expressions, something that you say all
mm.
the time.
um, this is so old. I say tough titty, tough titty said the kitty, or something like that. Like it's just random. Something that my parents used to say when I was growing up. So I say that a lot when people start griping. I'll just be like, "Tough titty," said the kitty, and that's it.
Now, give us one of your dirty little secrets.
Oh Lord.
She like, girl, let me put this in a book. Look.
um, this is, well, it's I wouldn't say it's dirty. It's kind of like, oh wow. Um, I met my ex fiance on a Madonna fan club.
On the Madonna theme club.
The Madonna fan club.
Oh no way. Well, that's kind of cute, I guess.
It's
You know
kind
what I mean?
of,
Have
but that's
you-
how I came out. So
Mhm.
yeah.
So it was at least you found her in a place where you guys had something in common.
Hmm.
You know. Okay. Pretty provocative poet. What's what's the major difference between your sensual poetry and your erotic poetry? And Tequila Sway has a question also. But first, pretty provocative poet.
I'd say there's kind of a fine line, because even with my erotic poetry, there is a hint of sensualness in it. Because I'm not the type of person that will just sleep with anyone. So I have to love that person. And most of the time when I'm writing poetry, I am writing about a person,
Mhm.
whether it be someone that I was with or someone that I'm currently with. So it's kind of just a fine line. Um, my erotic tends to be a little more nasty,
Mhm.
more vulgar.
Right.
Um, yeah. So
And Tequila Sway would like to know, how do you balance being an empath and being and have wait a minute, have a cutoff where it doesn't impact your life? Honey, just how do you even first of all, how do you just deal with being an empath? Because I so do not like it.
it's hard. It's one of the hardest things to deal with in life, period. Um, I just have to know that self-care is very important, and that as an empath, we carry our energies, and our energies are already big and loving, and we shine bright, like a star. But then you start taking on other people's energies, and it could be something as little as being at the grocery store, or
And that's the part I don't like because you you'll shift in your like attitude and I'm like and then so I'm going, I'm like, well, wait a minute. And I don't like I guess I just really accepted I'm an empath. So I don't when something happens, I think it's me. But then I'm like, okay, wait. who was I around today? Where did I go? What did I pick up? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And then, so then you got to go through the whole cleansing and releasing and,
And that's very important. And I think that's where a lot of people who are newly navigating the life of an empath and they're finally realizing this is the type of person that I am, is that the cleansing and taking that time for yourself to shake it off and come back within is very important, because otherwise you're going to get burnt out. You're going to be overwhelmed. You can't even focus on what you got to do because you're carrying everybody else's BS. And you can't, you have to, even navigating the dating world is difficult because we tend to attract narcissistic personalities. They love us. And you have to be very aware of those type of people.
okay, okay. Well, I'm glad I brought you on the show. So, look, I mean, what am I supposed to do with this? No.
So yeah, meditation is a big one. I do a lot of that, meditating and just kind of coming, sound bath, stuff like that, just being with myself and taking that moment to breathe. That's the biggest one.
It's amazing because at a certain point in my life, I was able to do that. It's like now, I guess I gotta regroup and balance out and find and just not find time, make time. Like be consistent in doing that, especially the meditating, because meditating and breathing is like major, especially breathing is so good for the body, like across the board. When I remember when the first time I read something on, like, if you're angry, take a moment and take 3 deep breaths. I was like, that stuff's not going to work. But it really does, it really does work. And it's also
It
good for
does.
the body, the digestive system, all of that. So,
Anxiety, all kinds of stuff, and those are the first things. I'm an early education teacher. So when we're teaching social emotional behavior to our kids, like breathing is one of the first things we teach them when they're angry or upset or sad. We
what? I
sing a
think
song and teach them how to breathe.
that's awesome that children are learning that now at a very young age. Because, girl, I didn't, wasn't nobody telling me sit down and breathe. She might have said
Mm-mm.
sit down, but
Followed by something else, right? Yep, same.
exactly. It wasn't no breathing involved. Maybe afterwards, and then they tell
Better.
you to shut up.
That's what I was gonna say. It's followed by "shut up," breathe before you
It's
pass
like,
out, kind of thing.
okay. It's like, wait a minute, you just like almost killed me, and now you want me to not cry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness, that is too funny. Um, Wait a minute. That we answered everybody's question. Well, I think did you finish answering Tequila's
Yeah,
question?
pretty much. I think. Yeah.
Okay. What do you wish to accomplish with your writings?
Um, to let people know that I was here.
Hmm.
That I lived. I wasn't just existing, but I lived a life. Um, Violet. I actually saw something this morning because I knew this question was coming, and it was like a video that Viola Davis, which she said something during a speech at an award ceremony, and it was something about like being an artist is the only profession where we actually celebrate people that lived.
Mm.
As a teacher in my career, I could die tomorrow. They're going to find somebody else, put them in the building. And of course, I've made an impact, but they don't talk about that. And I
Yeah.
know that because I've had, coworkers who've passed away. And it's just like so unfortunate that it's almost like they didn't even exist.
Wow.
So with my poetry, I just wanted to say that I was here,
Yes.
leave a
Yes.
little legacy.
Yes. It's not a little, it's a big one. If you weren't a poet, what else would you be doing?
I don't know. Because I am doing, I guess, my other calling as a teacher. But if as far as artistic, I'd put more energy into painting because that's my other side gig. It's something that I gave up again in high school because mom said, you know, and so I didn't put my passion into it. Either that or music. I was an first chair clarinetist in high school, and I really enjoyed orchestra, and I wish that I hadn't given that up. So
Right. That's awesome. Well, all of that's gonna come to pass because
yeah,
once, when God puts all like those gifts and talents in us, um, they might be dormant because we don't know, but once that ball gets to rolling, it's on and popping because I did not know. Now I knew I did hair for 28 years, um, and I never thought. I thought I would retire, like do hair until I just couldn't do hair anymore. The writing, literally, um, the poetry was God. As a matter of fact, when I wrote my first poem, I didn't even know I wrote a poem. I was trying to cuss a guy out, well, planning on cussing him out. So I'm writing. When I finished writing, I was like, this is not a cuss out, and that was in 2015. In 2016, God was like, learn the poem. I was like, what? I don't know anything about spoken word, um, reciting poetry, none of that stuff. Well, God taught me. He gave me the rhythm to that first poem. And by 2017, I published my first book and hit my first open mic. So, and now I'm doing this. Uh, and I had my second poetry show on Saturday.
nice, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I had, before that, in 2020, March of 2020, right before COVID, before they shut everything down, I did my first motivational show called Always Choose to Love Yourself More in person.
Mm.
So it's all like, I didn't even realize how all of this was going to come about and blossom into all of this. So I can't wait. You got to show some of your paintings. I don't know if you have a painting there, but when you start painting, I will definitely bring you back on the show so they can see. You want to play your music, because that's stuff. I think that's awesome. Yeah, to be gifted and talented. Yes, do all of it.
Yeah, and I've been whenever I finally settle down on a career, my work has always been in the service industry. So, I wanted to be a nurse. So I started nursing school, and then I got into 911, and I did that for 7 years as a dispatcher. And then I became a teacher, but I teach severe needs, special education students.
Mhm.
So it's always had some sort of huge impact on people, and I need an escape from always doing for others. So that's where the writing and the painting and learning instruments has come back into my life, I feel like, as an adult.
Mhm. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome, and I could see that. And pouring out into people all the time, we tend to neglect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Um, is a must to. That's where always choose to love yourself more came from, because I was so busy like taking care of and concerned about other people, especially my sister, that I neglected myself. But I was pressed on my spirit, and I went to the doctors, and I had to get a mammogram and was diagnosed with breast cancer. So
Mm.
yeah, we always. I'm just so thankful that I went and they caught it early. So I had surgery and radiation treatments. But thank God I didn't have to get the chemo. Um, so it is definitely a good thing that you take time for yourself because it's stress. Stress on the body brings about certain things in the body.
Mm-hmm. And it's the number one silent killer people don't realize.
Yeah, yeah. And it was something because, and I was really stressed out about my sister because, girl, she was diagnosed with adrenal cancer. Thank God
Mm.
she's okay, but that freaked me out. And what really freaked me out was right before she had surgery, she thought she was going to die.
Mm.
And I could feel it. And it just, oh my goodness, I was trying to keep it together for her. But when I walked away from her, the nurses was like, come here. Because, yeah, surgeries and stuff, um, things going on in the body. we definitely have to be in tune to do preventive care for ourselves, and that's
Mm-hmm.
basically what it is, doing preventive care. Um, Especially when, and since both of us had it at, like, in the same. Uh, she had surgery in March. I had surgery in April. They did tests where they test your DNA, and they was like, they didn't even understand how we had. It was nowhere in our heritage or whatever,
Mm.
on our father or mother side. So it doesn't have anything to do. People think it's in the family. I'm like, this stuff is not in the family.
Mm.
So being aware. But okay, you gotta give us a poem now. Give us a
Um,
taste. Give us a taste of versatile Vixen.
let's see. Okay, I'll do this one. So this piece is the one that's the one that's published. It's in this Pride anthology book that I'm in. It's got 32 other poets from Instagram. So it's called "To Be a Lesbian." Um, it must be easier to be a lesbian. That's what I hear straight people say. But I cringe each time I hear that because they don't know what it's like to live this way. I grew up in a white Christian household that forbid anything out of the norm. It's not easy growing up the black sheep. It's not easy when your heart is torn. To be who I am or what society wants, that's the decision that I had to make. But why would I be someone I'm not? To live life with a man would be fake. At 5, I fantasized about Ariel, the little mermaid with the shell bra. And I often wondered what it would be like to be King Triton's daughter-in-law. In high school, I had an obsession with one of my teachers, of course. But she, stop calling me. She was also the preacher's wife. Uh, but my mind still went there without remorse. When I finally experienced love, it was with a woman, big surprise. But my mother hated hearing it. It was now me that she despised. I wish you had never been born. You want to know what being gay's like? Try hearing your own mother say that, each word stabbing like a knife. Try dodging pronouns left and right. I can't say she or her. Because as a professional in America, being gay causes quite the stir. Scared to hold my lover's hand, afraid to give her a kiss. Are you sure it's easier being gay? Would you want to live like this? I've had my heart broken, been crushed down to the core, each time by another female. I've cried so much that my eyes were sore. So no, it's not being easy. It's not easier being a lesbian. It's not any easier being gay. But I'll fight this fight as long as I have to, because, baby, I was born this way. And that's that piece.
It's I said I gotta find something to a sound effect that is like a chime for pieces like that, because the loud, you know what I mean? Because when you're reading, it's just peace and calm, and can, especially after the conversation we just had. So I like
Mm-hmm.
that you did that poem. Um, it's something that straight people will say to you. It's easier being gay, knowing all that people who've come before you were getting beat up, harassed, hauled off to prison, all kind of mess has happened. So for people to say it's easier being gay, oh my goodness, I'm like, really? Gay world you living in? Look.
Right. Exactly. And I think a lot of it comes from it has to be it's generally a lot of straight women, honestly, that say it. And I think it's just because they get fed up with men. And I understand, there are some men that just ain't shit, and that's okay. There's a lot of women that aren't either.
And that's what they think. I'm like, this is my thing. I don't buy into there's more women than men. I don't believe that, because I'm like, did y'all count every man on the planet? Until you count every man on the planet, there's enough to go around. And I don't think that someone should go and be gay because they've been so hurt, by men. I'm like, if that's your preference, go because it's something you want to do.
Right.
But don't play with people, because either way it goes, you're playing with somebody's feelings. So I think people should take the time and talk to people who are gay, because that's what I do. I ask questions because I don't know. I had a gay niece, and I remember I had Truth the Poet on my platform, and I didn't want to, wait a minute, or was it? It might not have been her first. I think it was Veronica J. And I didn't want to call her Queen. I'm trying to think if Veronica came before Shan the Poet. But I just didn't want to disrespect them, because sometimes a gay woman doesn't mind being called Queen. And then sometimes it's disrespectful to her. So when my niece and her significant other said, Vina, the best thing to do is just ask or just call her by her name, and I said, I totally agree, because I don't want to disrespect anybody. And like I said, where I ask questions or whatever, because when you don't know, for me, and I've always been like that. If I don't know something, I'm going to ask. The only thing the person can say to me is none of your business, or I don't want to talk about it. So, and I'm like, if they don't, me and my nosy self, well, I don't say nosy, me and my inquiring mind, because I have a analytical mind and I inquire about so much stuff, I'll just go to somebody else and ask that person.
Right. And that's what I tell people all the time. If you don't know, ask. It's fine. There's several of us who will be more than willing to answer your questions.
Exactly. Wait. Oh, well, if you don't mind me asking, how's your relationship with your mother now?
Now it's very good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, it was hard for her, and I think honestly, she was in denial, and I told her this after I finally came out. I was like, Mom, the whole time I was in high school, you kept asking me, are you gay? Are you gay? Are you gay? Are you a lesbian? Why do you have all these posters of Madonna? Why do you have the Spice Girls? Why are you, so into your teacher? Like, I don't understand this, and she asked me all, and I'm like, I would never fully say it, but I wouldn't deny it either. And so when I finally came out, I was just like, where is this anger coming from? Like, I don't understand.
From society.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I have another show that I just started, and I was talking about, I was actually talking about love and being so focused on a man's love that I didn't really appreciate my family and my friends around me, that love, because love is love. I'm and sex is sex. You understand what I'm saying? So, like you said, with society saying to her, and especially the church, gay is wrong, they're going to hell, it's sin. So now you're embarrassed. So being a parent, I can speak from that perspective. That's what it is. It's embarrassment because they said, versus, I don't care what you said. This is my child. I don't care if they're gay, straight, blue, black, green, orange. They belong to me. So, and that's what I said, from hearing things so much, we take that in and take on what they say, and we allow fear to kick in. And fear as we can see, it can cause people to be mean, to be nasty, to hurt. I met this young lady. She was going out with another friend of hers, and she had a girlfriend. her girlfriend was away with her family, and she said she thinks she had been using drugs again. And I was like, well, do you mind me asking why she was using drugs? She said because her family tried to did some kind of treatments where they tried to turn her from being not being gay, like some,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And that messed that girl up. And then the family, and she's messed up now because the family won't even admit or talk about the fact that they did that to her. And
Mm.
that's really, sad that, all these things are happening to people, to gay people, um, because they have their own preference. They walking in their
Mm-hmm.
own minds, and that's what we're doing. We're all individuals. Yes, we're one collective, but we're individual. We can individually think for ourselves and do for ourselves. It's called choice. And if God allows us to have choice, who are you to take my voice and my choice away from me? So
Exactly. And I think
yeah.
for her, it was the fear just all together, and one of the things that she ended up telling me was that I don't want you to have a life any harder than you already will. And I said, okay,
I can
mom.
understand that. Yeah.
Like, I understand that, so
But,
I understand where she was coming from, and especially, at that time in the 90s and early
mhm,
2000s, like a lot of people were still being beat up for being gay, and
yeah.
women killed in the park and whatever for being with their lover. And even today, so I get it, but I told her my life would probably be harder trying to pretend to be somebody that I'm not,
Yeah.
or just never being with anyone in period. Because
And I really believe it's God that keeps us safe. You know what I mean? Because thank God it hasn't, and I hope it don't ever, but somebody can be beat up at a park not being gay. You
mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So it's like we gotta just let go and let God. Just every day when my son leaves out the house, I'm like, God, please let him come back here. You understand? So, and
Mm-hmm.
he's not gay. He's not a child that hangs out with people going in the wrong direction. I'm just saying, God, let him get to school and get back home. You know what I
Right.
mean? So yeah,
And
like
I think there's things that every parent wants for their child. And, one of the things that my mom wanted was for me to get married and for me to have children and yada,
yeah.
yada, yada. And I think she thought that that wouldn't be possible with me being gay. But, times have changed. And
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I would have had a ceremony regardless. I'm not going to let the
Mm-hmm.
government tell me I can't. Like, who? No.
Exactly. Like I'm gonna put this dress on.
Right. And whether or not I'm with a man, I didn't want children. And, that was what she wanted for me. That's not what I want. So,
Yeah,
there's
especially.
just a, what
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's just a lot that I think she had to swallow. And so finally, we're at a point now where we can talk about my partners. And, I'm currently dating someone who's amazing and she is very supportive. And she has told me so many times lately, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy and for God to put someone in your life who loves you and shows you
Mm-hmm.
that. And I'm like, thank you.
And you know what? That's what I love about my niece and her wife, because they actually did get married. That she is, what I tell you, I'm talking about the person that my niece is supposed to be with. I'm just like, oh, thank you, God. Because she was with another girl. We was like, when you want us to beat her up? But yeah, so that's awesome that you're in a blessed relationship. You're
Thank
doing
you.
well. Oh wait, because you have a couple questions. One of the questions, wait a minute, is that my next question? One of the questions I'm going to ask to Kayla Sway asked, and it was actually my next question. Congratulations on your book. Please tell them where they can find it and the
Um, so it is printed. However, I don't get any money if you buy it from the website because I didn't put it out. But if you buy it directly from me, I can mail it to you. So just DM me if you want a copy of it, and we can discuss, and I'll send you one.
what's the title of the book?
It's just called Pride. I think it's
Don't
Pride
say
365. Well, I just couldn't. I'm sorry. I just couldn't remember the title. I think it's Pride
Oh,
365, if
okay.
I'm not mistaken. Something like that.
Okay. That's what's up. Wait a minute, and you have another question. The pretty provocative poet would like to know what's your favorite poem? What's your favorite poem that you wrote?
Mm, I don't know. Because I write so many different genres that like I have a
Mm-hmm.
favorite from each genre. Honestly, the one it's funny. It's not really my favorite, but I like that I came up with it because it was something that was hard for me to write. Was "Make America Great Again" or
Mm-hmm.
"America the Great." It was something like that. I wrote it for college, so that was a it was a piece that I ended up creating a video for. I haven't released it out on social media, but I'm thinking about doing it for June 19th.
Okay. Well, would you please give us another taste of versatile Vixen?
Sure. How many more pieces can I do? Because that's going to determine which one I do.
Two
Two
pieces.
more? Okay.
Yes, please.
No, 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 no. I'll actually, you know what? I can do the America. Let me do that one. I don't do it often, so that wasn't on the list either. My whole list has changed. Oh, goodness. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's America the Great. That's what it's called. Make America Great Again. When was that? I'd like to know. We take a pledge to the flag for this country founded on land that we stole. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. How can we say this each day in school while another black mama gets that dreaded phone call?
Mm,
Sadly, this isn't anything new. Christopher Columbus sailed that ship in 1492. In 1619, we brought another race here to do the things that white people didn't want to do. We abused a whole race of people and left them in the dust for 402 years, yet we act completely dumb to their struggles and their fears. Everything is painted so that racism is a thing of the past, but we should stop whitewashing American history, and that change needs to happen fast. Let's talk about what happened after the emancipation. How black people were arrested for small crimes and used to keep building this nation. Or how about a state-sponsored system of segregation? Yeah, that's redlining in the 1930s, which has been replaced by gentrification. To think that black people bring down property value? Well, how would you like it if people said that about you?
mm,
Let's talk about segregated schools meant to keep black people as fools through inequity. No access to AP courses, different textbooks, and lack of resources. Why the need for this type of peasantry? Fast forward to the unfairness with crime. In 2019, one man rapes a female and is sentenced to 15 years. Another does the same, but he's white, so he only gets 6 months of time.
mm,
Or how about the cops on a killing spree, mistaking wallets for guns, their guns for tasers, and even shooting women in their sleep?
mm.
The words, "I can't breathe," isn't enough for you to take your knees off their necks, because that's where you've been this whole time, treating black people like objects. It's time for a wake-up call, America. It has never been great here. All I ask is for a few minutes and for you to lend me your ear. Hear me out. Listen to me spit. I know this isn't easy because this is heavy shit. But sometimes the truth hurts and is often necessary because where we've been as a society is pretty damn scary.
Mm-hmm.
Time heals all wounds is what I hear people say, but how much time can we allow to pass while Black people continue to pass away? How about we look at where this started and where it continues coming from? Take back our power as the people and unite to become one. So how do we make America great? Here's something to keep in mind. Treat others as you'd like to be treated. Give them respect, justice, equality, and be kind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that piece.
You had to get that one first.
Thank you.
You got to give us one more.
Okay, so after all that and hearing about me, this is one that no one has heard yet. I'm trying not to cry.
Debut.
This is very, very new. I'm trying not to cry reading it. It's called I'm Sorry. I'm sorry for lying to you, for saying you're not pretty enough, skinny enough, smart enough, strong enough, creative enough. For each time I said that you were not enough. I'm sorry for letting them take advantage. Hands down your pants, mouth on your bits, knowing damn well they shouldn't have that type of access. I'm sorry for doubting you. After all that we've been through, I should have known you were capable each time, but sometimes your strength slips my mind. I'm sorry for being so hard on you. I know that you're always trying your best. Sometimes life gives us lemons, but you'll squeeze every drop of juice to make that lemonade and also make use of the zest. I'm sorry for each time I doubted you. You should have seen the first red flag and walked away, but instead I talked you into accepting the whole dozen and treat them like a bouquet. When they made you cry, you would beg them to stay. I'm sorry I disappointed you. I allowed others to spit their toxic venom and believed it was true. You didn't deserve that type of emotional abuse. You were looking for love in all the wrong places, staring lovingly into all the wrong faces. And had you known your worth, you wouldn't have allowed half the shit I put you through. I'm sorry I didn't hold you more. You laughed and smiled to shield the pain, always there for others, even if they didn't do the same. I should have helped you in your healing, but instead I ran away. I'm so sorry. If I could be granted one wish, I'd ask for a redo. But with the knowledge I have today so that you could go through life knowing that you're perfectly imperfect and that I love you. That was my apology to myself.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Thank
I told you
you.
I gotta get a chime. I gotta get a chime. That was beautiful. And you know what else I wanted to tell you? You have such a peace about you. Because this whole show, I'm just like, I am so at peace. It is
Oh,
crazy. I'm just like, it's yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
thank
Keep
you.
that, guard that. It's really special. Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate
awesome.
that.
That's awesome. Now, please, before you go, tell people where they can find you at and give them some encouraging words, please.
So if you go up there and hit the little drop down, I'm at the underscore versatile underscore Vixen. I'm only here on Instagram. I just started a Facebook page, but there's really nothing on it right now. And there's a LinkedIn on my bio where you can join in on SoundCloud. Here's some of my recorded pieces. I'll be dropping a book. I don't know that it'll be finished this year. I still have a lot more writing to do, but I am working on a book called Metamorphosis. So it's all about me finding my pen again. And I guess my best word of encouragement is to always authentically be yourself.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Thank
Now I
you.
gotta press this button and say, because ladies and gentlemen, this has been a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with none other than a taste of the beautiful, versatile Vixen. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You have definitely been a blessing. And it was really nice talking to you and getting to know you, that you were transparent tonight, that you shared with us. I know this show is going to be a blessing to somebody who's going to watch the replay.
I
So
hope
thank
so.
you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Steve. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. She is an awesome, awesome, beautiful person, and we were so blessed to have her here tonight. Join us again next Tuesday night at 10 p.m. And if you would like to just come on my show, which is on Always Choose to Love Yourself More page, that's at 8 p.m. That show, the stage is open. It's a show for conversation, a place to come vent, to be lifted up. We'll have discussions about love and life. But thank you so much, guys. God bless you. Peace and love. And thank you for your support. I do appreciate it. God bless you. Good night.